I'm too poor to get a job. And Elon Musk is a trillionaire.
America has spent decades rewarding weakness. We've tolerated invasions, and we're fearing consequences. Trump just changed the rules. She just said she's too poor to work. Think about that sentence. We have built systems where refusing to participate can sometimes make more financial sense than getting a job, than following the rules and carrying your own weight. But this morning, that same pattern is appearing everywhere. In the Strait of Hormuz, the United States is drawing a line. International shipping can move, but Iran will not be allowed to threaten the waterway and profit from the chaos it created. Meanwhile, columns of migrants are still moving through the woods because political leaders spent years teaching the world that America's border was not really a boundary. Think about that. We are rewarding people for invading our country. And you've got this poor other sob-stricken woman complaining she's too poor to work. Do you think the people coming into the southern border are too poor to work? Are they too poor to come to the best country in the world? Hell no, they're not. They know exactly what they're doing, okay? And that's the problem. And we've got leaders, we have elected officials in Congress that aren't doing a damn thing to stop it. They're rewarding it because all of these people are going to get EBT cards with $4,000 to $5,000 on it. That's what's happening. And 77 years ago, Pope Pius XII approved a decree confronting communism because the church understood something modern leaders have forgotten. A civilization that refuses to defend its boundaries eventually loses everything inside of them. This is not four different stories. It is one story about a world that forgot how to say no and what happens when consequences finally return. You like how she's such a victim? She blames the richest guy that she knows. She's not blaming the people that manufactured the iPhone that she's probably filming this on. If she's too poor to work, she looks like she's eating pretty good, doesn't she? I saw this clip, I shared it with some friends, and they thought I was joking. They thought that this was fake. This is not fake. This woman really believes she is too poor to get a job. Let me ask you this. Do you know anybody that's too poor to vote? Do you know anybody that's too poor to reproduce? Do you know anybody that's too poor to just wake up in the morning? Do you know anybody that's too poor to quit feeling sorry for themselves? Because that's what needs to happen here. We are in a nation of decline. Everybody's a victim. Everybody wants to blame somebody else. Let me ask you this. How many poor people have ever given you a job? Right? You ever get a job from a poor person? Blaming Elon Musk is the easy way out. And if you want to be a victim, you should just follow her method. I want to say this because I brought up voting. New York City, this is a perfect example of victims. This is a perfect example of victims getting what they wanted, but they don't really expect it. Manhattan rents hit $5,295 as New York City affordability rate goes up. Median market rents jumped 8% in Manhattan. What happened to Mamdani taking care of everyone? Lowering rents, rent control. It says here, in June, amid a vacancy rate of 1.4 to 1.9%. I want to ask you this question. Who's paying for this? I'm sure we are. I'm sure the government is subsidizing this. Supporters of building more highlight long-standing zoning barriers as New York City added over 60,000 units since 2021, yet prices keep climbing. Is that their version of affordable housing? I don't think so. But they voted for this socialist mayor, think he was going to save the world. And for anyone that says that inflation is the problem, here's a new report. Consumer prices fall sharply in June, much better than expected. Biggest decline in 6 years. So don't blame inflation. Blame the game. Blame the people that refuse to work. Blame the mayor that exploited some, let's call them fibs. Okay? This is all fibs, but nobody wants to talk about it. But the numbers are there. It's proof that sometimes you get what you want, sometimes you get what you deserve, and be careful what you wish for.
And it's a blockade not for anybody but Iran. In other words, anybody doing business with Iran can't go through. Everyone else will be able to go through. So it's a blockade. It's a very strong blockade. The blockade was probably more effective even than hitting them, but I think the combination is the thing that really does it.
But so you think a deal is still possible? You think they'll return to that?
Yeah, I think a deal is possible. Sure, I do.
But Mr. President,
Back. And
at this point, I want to be hopeful. I want to believe the president. He thinks the deal is possible. Now, over the last 24 hours, they have manipulated, massaged the deal with some weapons. And that might be the only thing that Iran understands. But Iran broke the deal 11 hours after their meeting. Does that sound like someone or a country that wants to make a deal? Does that sound like a country that we can trust? Does it sound like a country that is worried about things? They're not responding like that. And I think we have to increase a little bit of the pain. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. Trump smashed 170 major targets in 36 hours. And I want to ask the question, should Trump give Iran any ceasefire at this point? Or just ramp up the maximum pressure until they're fully neutered? Leave a comment down below. What is your take on this? Are we in a nation of decline? Are you seeing the moral fabric of society decline? These stories may look disconnected, but they point to the same truth. A nation, a military, and a church. And a society cannot survive without boundaries. Compassion without accountability becomes dependency. Open borders become surrender. Open sea lanes without deterrence become targets. And beliefs without conviction become meaningless. America does not need to apologize for defending what belongs to us. And I don't need to apologize for working and being successful. We need leaders willing to draw the line and the strength to hold to it. And we also need people that will call a spade a spade. And when people say they're too poor to work, call them out, laugh at them, ridicule them. These people need to be exposed. I want you to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.